We're rope dropping Disneyland this morning. If you're rope dropping, it means you're trying to maximize your time at the Disneyland Resort. There are a lot of strategies. I have a few, and today we're going to test a new twist on my preferred way to knock out some of those key attractions before most guests are even in the park.
All of us here at the happiest place on earth are delighted to have you as our guests today. In just a moment, we invite you to get your hands on and begin your adventure as you explore Walt Disney's Magic Kingdom. For your safety, we ask that you please walk to your next destination. And we hope that today you will remember to put the right choices.
I think that might have been the briefest rope drop I've ever heard in the morning. Normally they go on and on. I don't mind a long rope drop sequence. It's fun. So yeah, we're starting here in Tomorrowland. This is definitely the way you want to go. Now, you'll notice that things were a little different this morning. Rope drop. Apparently, there's no early entry at Disneyland today. They changed the early entry procedures. One park per day, which means early entry today for hotel guests is over at DCA today. And they dropped that rope right there at the Tomorrowland entrance. So it was a little bit of a different look and feel that I'm accustomed to of late. But we're gonna start at Space Mountain. I am a firm believer that Space Mountain should be your #1 priority under any circumstances when you're rope dropping. What you do after that can be up to you a little bit, but I also a firm believer in hitting Matterhorn next because it's right next door, and that's an attraction that gets affected by Lightning Lane quite a bit. You know, once the morning gets on, that's where things are going to change up. We're going to be watching the clock today to see how well we do, to see how well, how on pace we are. At 9 a.m., the goal was to be heading to Rise of the Resistance in Galaxy's Edge at 9 a.m. So what can we get done in that meantime? We should be able to get 3 attractions in. Probably Space, Matterhorn, and then Big Thunder is my guess. The reason you choose Space Mountain is because it is the quickest to get affected by Lightning Lane. And it's also going to be your longest standby wait. It's one of the most popular competitive attractions in the park, even up against rides like Rise of the Resistance. Only Indiana Jones really has a more competitive, more popular group of guests going for it, except that I don't recommend rope dropping Indiana Jones because you're not actually saving very much time. We've discussed in previous videos the mix point for Indiana Jones is just at the temple entrance, which is not a lot of time to save. So you're gonna spend that rope drop experience in an attraction where you're not gonna save a lot of time. So I don't recommend that. I'd recommend hitting that. If you don't want to do Rise of the Resistance, you hit Indiana Jones at 9 a.m. and you're going to get the same deal. Excuse me. We got off to a bad start this morning with Space Mountain for a variety of reasons, but that was a very deep crowd, very deep queue. You want to get here, you want to get nearer to the front of the queue if you can. Minutes count in the morning, and I was about 5 minutes late at least in getting here. I got to the Esplanade at 7:30, and they hadn't started letting in guests, but there was a huge crowd already formed at the gates there. Then the gates were about 5 minutes late to open, so we didn't get through until 7:35. I mean, we didn't get through. Actually, it took about 20 minutes to get through the gates, and I think we were on Main Street at 7:50. That's not very good. Minutes count at the rope drop, man. That's something that I'll say. That's one of the golden rules. Okay, let's start. 3 golden rules for the beginning of your morning. Park at Toy Story, which I did this morning. I parked at Toy Story. Don't park at Mickey and Friends. Park at Toy Story. It's a much more efficient, quicker way to get to the front, to get to the Esplanade. Mickey and Friends, dude, anything can happen at Mickey and Friends, and so it just takes forever. Plus, they don't open that much earlier. 2 minutes count. Every minute that you can save will save you an additional 2 or 3 minutes in terms of getting in front of the other crowds. I'm going to lose a lot of time this morning getting into my ride vehicle just for those 5 minutes that I lost getting here late into the Esplanade.
Great. No, man. Just think for
Go ahead. Verify number 1. This is LV. Go LV. Turn on your alarm recorder for spacecraft. Roger.
And 3, Space Mountain should be your first attraction. The most popular, most competitive lightning lane and standby attraction in the park. And actually, a 3B to that list would be to not rope drop Rise of the Resistance. We've talked about this at length in other videos. I've dedicated entire videos to Rise of the Resistance and rope dropping it. I've tested it many times. Sometimes you get lucky, but all in all, when you rope drop Rise of the Resistance, that's it. That's your rope drop day. So, and you may or may not even get on the attraction. It often does not launch in the morning. Not that Space Mountain doesn't ever have its technical difficulties, but you're much more likely to have a successful trip here. Meanwhile, you're much more likely to still be able to enjoy Rise of Resistance. And at about 9 a.m., you're gonna lose maybe 10 minutes off your time from rope drop. So that's what we're testing today, is to hit Rise of Resistance at 9 a.m. But we gotta start our morning here on Space Mountain.
Welcome back,
So 8:18, we're done, 8:18. Actually, considering our start, that's not bad. Space Mountain done in 18 minutes. Next stop is the Matterhorn. Now forgive me, but I'd like to take a quick break, let you guys know about Getaway Today. You may already know that they are our preferred vacation planner, travel agent for our fans who are looking to book a trip to Disneyland or Walt Disney World or more. Universal Studios Hollywood, Universal Orlando, SeaWorld, Legoland, you name it. And I'd like to think that we know them very well. We've met many of them personally, and we know how kind they are and how really tremendously good they are at their jobs. And that's why I'm confident in referring our fans to Getaway, because I am confident that you will be treated just as well as we have. If you're planning a trip to a Disney park or Universal or anything else of that nature, if you're planning a trip soon, use the link in our description so that they know that we sent you and so that we know that you were sent to them through one of our YouTube videos. And in so doing, you can be confident that you're going to be getting some of the best possible service from people who know everything there is to know about planning a trip to the Disney parks. Thank you for that. Let's get back to the show. I like to open my morning with Space Mountain for the reasons just stated above, but also it puts you right next to the Matterhorn, which is a key attraction that you want to try to save some time on. This queue, this standby queue, can get disastrous if you hit it at the wrong time. If you're in the neighborhood and you don't get here at the right time, it can be really super sticky. So you want to try to, you can save 30, 40 minutes here rope dropping this in the morning. Looks like there's one small problem with that today on this morning, which is something that you run the risk of no matter where you start your day. One side only. Looks like it's just the Fantasyland side right now at the Matterhorn, which is going to slow us down by half.
Yeah, they were right here. Trying to cheat the system.
Hi, good morning. Oh, now there's some good fortune. It looks like they just opened up the Tomorrowland side. Are we going Tomorrowland this morning? Because the Fantasyland side is packed right now. Yeah, it looks like, all right. Hey, that's good fortune right there. We probably just say 5 minutes in. Minutes count before 9 a.m. And that's our boat at 8:27 on the Matterhorn.
His arms, feet, and legs inside the boat. Please, check it. Thank you. Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado con el cinturón.
There we go, man. 2 for 2. Space Mountain and Matterhorn done. It's probably 8:30, 8:31. I'll check my phone in a minute, but we did it pretty good after a slow start at the rope drop. Getting these 2 attractions done in 30 minutes, that's pretty good. Couple observations before we head over to our next stop. Look at the queue already for the Matterhorn. In the 5 minutes that we just spent in that queue and on the ride, it's already filled up out here. And I'm gonna guess, yeah, it's out here, plus the Fantasyland side is full. Tomorrowland, I mean, clearly. Meanwhile, check the tip board for Space Mountain. Where we got through that attraction, we were in our vehicle at, what was it, 8:15? That's a long queue to walk through, by the way. But 8:15, that is now a 20-minute wait. We would have called that a 10-minute wait when we got there. It is now a 20-minute wait. You try to hit Space Mountain second, I mean, you've lost 10 minutes at least 10 minutes. And that puts the whole rest of your morning out of whack. You have to do Space Mountain first because immediately you're gonna start losing time. Matterhorn, it's sequential. Okay. Anyway, the next variable in this conversation is whether or not you do Big Thunder next or Indiana Jones. I'm a Big Thunder guy as opposed to Indiana Jones, personal preference. The one thing I will say is that the Indiana Jones queue takes longer to get through. It occupies more of your morning. Way to go, those folks doing Main Street vehicles though at Rope Drop. I love you. That is amazing. Those are some Disneyland fans right there. Riding the fire truck and the horse-drawn streetcar at Rope Drop. You know, I'm going on about optimal strategies and how to maximize and be efficient and hit a bunch of rides real quick in the morning. But I am absolutely in favor of doing that kind of thing. This is for the people who are park commandos. This video is specific for that kind of person. But there ain't nothing wrong with taking a Main Street vehicle at 8:30 in the morning. So Big Thunder is posted at 15. One caveat to doing Big Thunder at what is now 8:38 in the morning is that it might be just a fraction too early. They don't run all the vehicles right off the bat in the morning. They start off running 3, 4 trains, I'm not sure, maybe even 2. And then as the morning progresses, as the queue starts to fill up, they add trains. And they, you know, I think at this point in the morning, it may just be 2 or 3 trains. So that's going to slow down the loading time because you have to wait for the train to come back.
That's 8:45 to our train. 8:45. We're doing great. And this is exactly how I wanted it to go when it comes to trying to get to Rise of Resistance by 9 a.m. We're going to beat that 9 a.m. time.
All right, we're doing great. 8:50. We're done at 8:50. Got to say hi first to Jesse. Good morning, Jesse. Good to see you. So this is going about as good as it could be expected. And let me mention, by the way, now at this point, the reason why we're doing the pattern the way we are. Space, Matterhorn, Big Thunder. Because now Big Thunder is the closest attraction, really, of those attractions that you want to be riding at rope drop, which are lightning lane attractions. Let me just go ahead and repeat that for those who haven't seen our previous rope drop videos. You want to be focusing entirely on lightning lane attractions at rope drop. Big Thunder is proximate to Galaxy's Edge and to Rise of Resistance, as opposed to having to traverse that whole distance from, let's say, Town Square to Rise. So we're a little bit closer just in terms of walking distance, and it's a nice route to take. Having said all of that, it is important that you are checking the tip board throughout your rope drop morning to see if your attraction is open because Rise just closed. Rise is down. We're going anyway because I want to kind of get an idea of how long it takes me to get there from Big Thunder, getting off of that train at 8:50 in the morning, and then to see what the competition looks like ahead of us, you know, how the queue looks and everything. 8:50 in the morning to, what is it now, 8:53. So it'll take us about 5 minutes all in to walk to the front gate. There is a queue developing. This could be a queue getting ready for the attraction to reopen. Normally they don't do that. Normally they don't allow guests to do this. They just tell you to move along. But I suppose it's worthwhile to get in there because that may indicate that they're close to opening. Yeah, it's still closed. Tell you what, no matter how many times I've come to Disneyland, I'm always finding something new. I've been here a couple thousand times and I've never seen a queue form post breakdown. Hi guys, good morning. Hi guys.
From Hawaii, aloha, man.
Hi guys.
Love your vlogs.
Thank you, thank you. We're gonna get in this queue, see what happens. We had the option of just going somewhere else. We still have plenty of rope drop morning left. You know, it's not even 9 o'clock yet. And I count rope drop from 8 to 10. But the way that I handle Rise is that once you get to Rise, it's kind of a commitment. That's your job now, is to get on Rise. Once you're back here in this park, because you're in the back end of the park, to give that up and go, you know, find your way back into the park proper. I mean, the next best thing we could do right now is what, Pirates, I guess. Haunted Mansion is closed. You know, where do we go from here? We can go to.
Are we hoping this is Rise of the
People are, lots of folks don't even know what this queue is for, because it's so rare that it's out here. We could do Runaway Railway, but that's also, now you've got a whole distance to walk on that. So I feel like once you make that commitment to go on the Rise, you kind of have to play it out, even if you rope drop it. But don't do that. Don't rope drop it. Don't get here at 8 a.m. It's just not the wisest thing to do, in my opinion. As suspected, they have cast now going down the length of this queue that is formed, saying they don't have an ETA for when Rise is going to come back on, and that this is not actually a queue. This is not an official queue. This is not a Disney-sanctioned situation. It's just sort of an ad hoc thing that happened. Guests on their own start to do this, which, you know, it can happen. It's not illegal. By that I mean, I don't think they were going to actively stop you from doing it. You're just hoping, you're counting on the orderliness and kindness of your everyday guests to respect the queue that has been formed and not try to bum rush the entrance when they do reopen, which they would be within their rights to do. Looks like things have opened up. It is 9:11, so that was about 15 minutes that we were waiting there. They haven't quite opened things up yet. It looks like they're just getting people to queue. Oh no, guys, we're gonna go through this thing in lightning time right now. And I can observe that it does look like people have respected the queue. I don't see anybody jumping in there. The queue held up. Yes.
Can you take the little ones really fast?
My friends were here either Sunday, last week. Oh, they're little boys. poor guy eligible for his first ride. I forget what it was, something on a roller coaster of some kind. Yeah, there's something. And then for the adult
200 people. Doesn't it take about 40 each time?
I don't remember.
So that's a win for science right there. We are in the rain room at 9:21, 9:22. So that's 32 minutes since we left Big Thunder with the 15-minute delay and waiting for the ride to reopen. So that's a win.
BB-8, is everyone assembled? Good. Should you be in flight prep?
They'll want the location of our secret base. Tell them nothing. The future of the Resistance is at stake.
Attention all passengers on board, you are under our control. Exit out immediately and prepare for interrogation. Now move. Why are you still standing there? Keep moving.
See that every day.
You have what I want. You know the location of the secret base, and I will take it from you.
Hurry and don't get caught. Lieutenant Beck will guide you. Recruits, for your safety, stay seated with seatbelts securely fastened. Keep hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the transport and supervise your children. A probe droid. You're lucky it didn't spot you.
If anyone's making a blaster, now's a good time. Wait, why are you going up? I said down. Up is bad. Up is real bad.
Sir, the prisoners have escaped.
How brave, but ultimately hopeless. And then I will destroy you and the Resistance.
Close, don't you? Thanks to your heroism, the location of the Resistance base is secure. Bravo! Yes, R5, you too.
Well done on this rope drop morning. We just finished our ride on Rise of the Resistance at 9:40. If you had said, Dave, do you think you'll be done with your 4 attractions by 9:40, including Rise of the Resistance and Space Mountain, I would have said, I'll take that. Thank you very much. That's great. We even still have 20 minutes technically on our rope drop session. We could go hit Pirates of the Caribbean. But I'm going to take this opportunity to show you something that we've talked about in the past about timing when it comes to Rise of the Resistance. We got in there, it was closed when we got here, bad timing. But then we were fortunate that it was just a 15-minute wait. So we were able to zip through the queue and we were done in no time flat. In that time that it took us to get through the queue and through the ride, Rise has popped. This, what we're looking at right here, there's your entrance to Rise of the Resistance. This is the standby queue. And you just don't often see this. This is your post-breakdown reaction crowd. We're just gonna see how far this goes. Last time I did this, I went all the way to the droid depot. Still going. This is almost exactly where we found it on our last post-breakdown trip. almost exactly. Ronto Roasters. Where we found the queue last time was a little bit down the way. That back of the queue, if history repeats itself, you're looking at 90 minutes probably. 90 minutes, and this is all based on being a little too late to react to a breakdown. People see that wait time. I didn't see what was posted, but post breakdown they'll put something down like 40 minutes or something like that. Something, you know, easily very attractive. Guests get excited about the possibility of doing Rise of Resistance for less than an hour, and so it draws a huge crowd. It's all about timing. Rise of the Resistance, rope drop. It's all about timing. I'm actually going to go walk this back because I want to see if they're using all of the proper queue, the exterior queue. So posted is 60, which is amazing that they would be willing to post that time looking at this queue, because this does not look like 60 to me. They are in fact using every bit of this exterior queue all the way down to section 4. If you've seen our Rise of the Resistance video, you know what I'm talking about, but I call that section 4 down there. It hardly ever gets down that way. If that's 60 minutes, I'll eat my hat. Now, I got into a queue like that, as I mentioned, all the way down there to Ronto Roasters. Difference is, though, that was midday or afternoon. That was about 11:40 in the afternoon. This is, 10 a.m. Big difference. I was just looking at my recon notes from that day. We got in the queue at 11:40 and got to the Ray Room at 1 p.m. So that's an hour and 20 minutes to get to the Ray Room, and then the ride broke down. You're talking about your unfortunate days. It was posted at 60 a minute ago, but I just looked now and it's 105, so they have adjusted it. It was posted at 120 when I got in the queue that one day. Yeah, posted at 120 at 11:40. So I was just talking to a guest. They said they had only been in that part that stretched down the path towards Ronto Roasters for about 5 minutes. So it looks like it's moving okay. But as soon as Lightning Lane starts to show up, it's gonna, that's gonna become a problem. So they've adjusted it to 105 now. You see that at 10 a.m. It's 9:52. You see that at 9:52 a.m. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you not to get in that queue. Come back another time. There will be plenty of other opportunities to enjoy Rise of Resistance. You do not have to get into this queue. You don't have to. There's a lot to do here at Disneyland. Keep in mind though, guys, that this is just a guide, and it's especially a guide for those who are trying to maximize their time at rope drop. There is no right or wrong way at the end of the day. What's best is what you want to do. What's important to you, and do that. If you want to ride Pirates of the Caribbean at 8 a.m., by all means, you guys go for it. I am never going to second guess any decision anybody makes when it comes to their own personal enjoyment at Disneyland. For me, actually, one of my favorite things about rope drop is just the positivity, the optimism, and the excitement that people have when they're running about, trying to hit that attraction. They're excited and they're so happy to be here. And it's just a perfect start to the morning. I love starting in Space Mountain and Matterhorn like that because it makes me happy. It makes me happy that I get to do those two classic Disney attractions in that time. So this is not by any stretch the only way to do rope drop, but as I mentioned, if time is important to you, then take those tips. As for our rope drop test, it's a success in my opinion. Space Mountain, Matterhorn, Big Thunder, Rise of the Resistance, all done by 9:50. Done by 9:50. That's very, very good. I will say also, I mentioned timing. It's all about timing. If it seemed like we were doing everything just at the right time, Space Mountain jumped up to 20 minutes after we rode. Matterhorn queue tripled while we were in there. Big Thunder, Rise of the Resistance, you saw that queue an hour, almost 2 hours after we got off the attraction. If it seems like we're getting pretty lucky, that's all by design. That's all because of the pattern that we follow, tested in multiple occasions. And in this case, we were able to update that test for those of you who want to try to mix Rise of the Resistance into your rope drop schedule. Do it 4th. Do it at 9 a.m. As for me today, this show is done, but I think I'm going to jump into that Pirates of the Caribbean queue right there. Still working out some tests there, posted at 25 minutes, but that queue looks pretty short to me. I'm going to go give that a shot. You guys stay tuned for more from Fresh Baked, and if you like our show and want to show your support, please do consider joining our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/freshbaked. Otherwise, you can follow us on Instagram at _freshbaked, on Twitter at freshbakedisney, that's fresh with no E, and on TikTok at freshbakedisney. And until next time, thanks again for watching, everybody. We love you. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. Fresh Baked.